I figured you'd like to see how this thing works. So now that I kind of have it open, I'm gonna kind of describe some of it. My phone is slowly going black, so I might not be able to see anything. So the catalytic combustor sits right in here. That's the little honeycomb looking thing. It's like that right there. And this goes right on top of it. And it covers this whole area. So basically the way that the fire works is it's got the traditional way of operating. Obviously you put logs in and you the door has a air valve you can open. There's one down here which supposedly you only use if you have coals down here, which I never plan on doing. You can use coal in this thing, I think. And then there's another one of those in the door that's right here, and you usually open that to give the regular fire some heat. And then there's also a fixed air intake that comes in through this hole back here. So the fire is constantly sucking that air in, and this plate right here mounts all the way onto that wall. You can see the shape there. The air comes out right here, and then you can see it enters here and goes through this grid, I guess, to get a little bit preheated before it goes into these little holes. So there's a set amount of air always going to the fire that you can't turn off, but then you can adjust the damper that's right here. Jed is whining because I'm talking. So after the fire gets up to about 500 degrees up here at the catalytic combustor, there's a temperature gauge here measuring that. Then you can crank this right here, and it'll close a big door that's up here, and essentially this is open while you're running the normal fire, and it's going straight up the flue, operating like a typical fireplace. But when you close this, now all of that air, the smoke, goes through, I can't see what, yeah, goes through this grate. And when it goes through this grate, the catalytic combustor sitting up here, and you see there's little tiny holes all along this thing. This puck is an air intake, and there's a pipe that comes through here, and that you open that with this. So you can kind of see, I'm gonna yell at Jetta. Jetta, no! So you can see the screw in there. That just, I think, holds the top down. So this is what you end up adjusting to control air to the catalytic combustor. And then the catalytic combustor burns to about, 1500 degrees or something high like that. And then that refractory, it's like foam. It's like really soft foam. Has that heat come up, and then it pushes it around so that it goes out here and then up the flue. So it kind of delays that air leaving so it can heat everything up even hotter. So that's essentially burning your smoke to give you more heat. But then something I think is really cool about this is that if you look down here, there's ports down that way, and if you look on the bottom, I'll get the light on that one, it's got holes like that on both sides, and that sucks in fresh cold air from underneath the stove, and it brings it up this rear portion, and it starts bringing it around here, and the whole time it's coming up, it's getting heated by the normal fire, and then up here it gets heated by the superheated catalytic combustor that's 1500 degrees. And then the top is usually up here, but the top comes to about here, and then that air just exits right out of here, out of the front of the stove, and adds a little forced convection shooting hot air out the front. And I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty much all there is to the operation of the stove. Aside from the ash shakers, I really had to enunciate that. But these are just, you can put this on here and kind of shape the ash down into the ashtray, so it's easier to clean out and stuff. And there's some extra heat shields in here, but modifications that I might make. Newer stoves typically have an air wash system that essentially brings cold air to the window, and it's a fixed amount, kind of like this thing is. So what I might do is I might cut a slot or something up here above the windows so that on the inside of the stove you'll get some cold air suction through here, and then as soon as it comes through, because it's cold, it'll drop across the glass, and then the hot air will be cycling and it will constantly suck in the cold air and have it drop here. And then the idea with that is that it will keep the glass clean, and that's what new stoves do, so that you won't have this cloudiness that people say they have almost immediately with these stoves. Only other additions I'll probably make is I'll probably make a standoff back plate heat shield and a heat shield for the bottom. Both of those are factory things, but they don't have it on this particular stove, and we need to do that to mount it closer to the walls, and maybe a collar here to protect some of the heat that's here. As it goes up the pipe, it's a lot less heat. So that's pretty much how she works. Pretty simple, pretty cool getting it taken apart and knowing exactly what it is. Gotta figure out how to stop the video because my screen is black on that